You guys ready? All right, welcome COBI. Going? Where you going?
Hi, I'm Nicky, this is Vincent and Ian, and we are COBI, the Collective Organic Building Initiative, growing healthy buildings with plant-based carbon-storing materials. The built environment is responsible for approximately 40% of greenhouse gas emissions globally, and this is largely due to the materials that we use to build our houses. A conventional wall assembly is made out of many layers of materials, all of them with large carbon footprints. In fact, building a typical single-family home in America emits approximately the same amount of greenhouse gas emissions as driving over 16,000 miles. Not only are these materials very carbon intensive, but they are also largely petrochemically derived and quite toxic. Now, what do we mean when we say carbon footprint? Well, at every stage in the material production system, there are carbon emissions, from extraction to manufacturing to transportation. But when we consider the sheer volume that we have been building, and particularly that we need to build in the US, this presents a massive problem, or a massive opportunity. How can we turn the built environment from a carbon emitter into a carbon sink? Well, we use Mother Nature's most advanced carbon capture technology available anywhere on the market, and that's plants. Plants naturally absorb carbon dioxide as they grow through photosynthesis, and emit this carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere when they decompose. But if we can store this organic material in the walls of our buildings, then we can lock away all of this carbon for the lifespan of a building, many decades. So if we can build with plants rather than with fossil fuels, then we can turn buildings into a climate solution. But historically, when we've used plants in buildings, the result looks something like this. Bespoke, kind of aesthetically challenging hobbit homes with kind of are intentionally outside of regulatory frameworks and really just are not scalable. However, this regulatory landscape is evolving rapidly, with billions of dollars in incentives to build with low carbon and carbon negative materials emerging in the next decade. Despite this, stakeholders across the industry are not prepared to act. Enter COBI.
At COBI, we use local agricultural waste like grass, hemp, straw, and modularize it with off-the-shelf dimensional lumber, CNC-manufactured plywood connectors, a QR code and embedded sensors for material performance tracking, and a set of easy-to-use assembly instructions. The more modules we build, the more carbon we store. And with these biomodules, we can build almost any structure. Take Deborah. Deborah needs a house for her mother and needs this house to meet the new carbon regulations. Her current market options are a toxic off-the-shelf plastic shed, or an architect-designed ADU that is going to be slow, expensive, and probably will use the same problematic materials. Our COBI pod is a fast and affordable alternative that also uses carbon-storing materials. Our website connects local materials with local labor while expediting the permitting process. On site, we deliver the materials, and one of our COBI certified contractors assemble these pods step by step. Finally, Deborah has a healthy carbon-storing house for her mother.
And over these past few months of DesignX, we've really enjoyed prototyping, both at full scale and continuing to research and test both the materials, structure, and the policy surrounding the implementation of our product, as well as making some small-scale mock-ups, which you can see over there. And because of all this work, we're so excited to announce that we've secured our first pilot project, which is in partnership with a community-based nonprofit here in East Boston. And for them, we'll be building a structure that supports their programming, which for us is a wonderful opportunity to continue to refine our materials, structure, and gather data about how they work and perform over the course of the next year, as well as a wonderful marketing opportunity so that By the time we graduate in 2026, we're well poised to enter our beachhead market of ADUs or backyard homes, and we've already begun to speak with potential clients both here in Cambridge as well as in California and Michigan. All with the intention of scaling this up, both in size and complexity, so that we can eventually deliver single-family homes, and down the line, even multifamily dwellings. And in our diversified business model, we're capturing revenue at every phase of this process, from farm to client, beginning with our partner farms who currently have no market for their agricultural waste. So we're allowed to get this building material for pennies on the dollar that is super high quality, and the farmers are compensated in increasingly valuable carbon credits. At the job site, our COBI certified contractors buy into and license our building system in order to get access to the growing market of carbon negative construction. And for the clients, a single flat fee is all they have to pay for the streamlined delivery of a high quality structure. And we envision a future where COBI pods at various scales can work together to rapidly both densify and decarbonize our cities. We have vast experience in natural building, manufacturing, housing, and carbon accounting. And we're seeking partnerships here today to further support our pilot project this fall, as well as any and all opportunities to build one of these structures in the future. So let us know if you have a backyard that feels ripe for a COBI pod.
Yep. So please join us as we grow healthy buildings with plant-based carbon storing materials.